Hey everybody, we're back here and we are just getting this evaporator ready to go. We are on boil number 2 and we had a good run last night. We collected almost 110 gallons last night, and I didn't really show that because I've already showed you guys that this season, and I wanted to get a few more particulars in here for you guys. So right now I just got my pan cleaned out. I got my RO system flushing out again. That's something that I like to do here is before I put it up for the night, I run about 10 gallons of permeate through it. And then when I set the whole system back up again, like the following boil, I will set that up and let it run another 5 or 10 gallons of permeate through it just to make sure everything's flushed out, ready to go. So while I'm cleaning my pan, getting my wood ready, getting the sap all ready to go, everything tidied up, I let this just kind of run into a 5-gallon bucket here. I'm just drawing out of my permeate tank into a 5-gallon bucket. And then we'll use that permeate there to rinse things down as we go throughout the day. We're getting this guy fired up. I'm just gonna set this pan down. I'm gonna show you maybe a couple of things I haven't showed you guys before, just so you kind of know, just the little things. I was thinking about this the other day when I was boiling. I'm like, there's a whole lot of things that I'm doing that it's not really on camera. It's not something that's super critical. It's just little things here and there that I've kind of found throughout the years boiling sap, making syrup that has helped me out. And I think today I'm going to try to hit on the little things that kind of just makes this whole engine run. First thing, when you're starting up first thing in the morning, you got to have a cup of coffee. And you can't get much done without it. Hey, pro tip, if you guys feel real frisky, instead of using just water for your coffee, use some sap. Here's something else that I do that just kind of helps seal everything off. It's just a chunk of fire rope. It's that's what I call it, is fire rope. I think it's actually called, like fireplace gasket or something. I think if you go on, I'll try to leave a link down below in the description, just to like an Amazon link or something, so you guys can get some of this. I just kind of lay it down on an edge like that. And then when the pan sets down on it, it just makes a nice tight seal. So I'm gonna go around, put this fire rope down, and then we're gonna seat our pan down, make sure we got a good seat here. Quick disclaimer. Right now I'm kind of using 2 hands to do this. It's kind of a two-handed project. But I messed up. I thought I bought 10 feet of this rope. Apparently I bought 7 feet, so it doesn't go all the way around. That's all right. I was worried that it was gonna do something weird on my first boil. It didn't. It was just fine. Now there, I just had a piece of wood kind of stuffed up underneath, so when I was cleaning everything, all the water would run down to my valve right here. Okay, we got our pan seated here. Everything cleaned up, ready to go. Make sure if you have a valve, make sure your valve is off. You will find out real quick if your valve is on or if it's off when you start putting sap into your pan. All right, so now got our pre-warmer going here. And we're gonna just that's the nice thing about this copper. You can kind of just bend it to where you want it to go. So I just got that going, and we're gonna hook up our sap line from our RO system right now. We're gonna switch this over. I am going to unplug this real quick, and then we're just going to switch everything so I'm not squirting sap all over the place. That's no fun. Always nice to have a roll of paper towels handy. This stuff gets a little sticky every once in a while. We have our inlet going into our sap tank that's going to draw all this through the system. This is just water. It's not going to hurt anything. A little bit gets in the pan. We're going to hook this up here. This. Just crescent wrench, tighten up the fitting. We have our permeate line going into our permeate tank. This is something I have not yet mastered, but I think when we get a more permanent setup, we're going to change this. Me and Candace have talked about many things throughout the years. And this, just get that out of the way. And then short people like myself can walk right underneath the line. So we're good to go. We're plugging this guy back in. Okay, pro tip number 12 for today. Make sure you get sap going into your pan before you get a fire going. Otherwise you're gonna scorch really bad. You don't wanna do that. So I take this time right now while my RO is ROing into my pan, and I go split some wood and get a fire built and ready to go. I want about, in this pan, I would say a good 1/2 inch across the whole pan before we even start a fire, because I don't want that to scorch at all. This, for reference, is also a 2x4 pan, divided pan. Just so you guys have some little bit of references to how big this operation is. Here's my secret weapon. I know, it's a fire starter. And I know I have a propane torch, but my wood is not the driest. So we're gonna cheat with a fire starter. I know I'm probably gonna get a bunch of flack from the internet tribes, but okay, I've checked. I have sap in the pan. I have wood in the box. I am good to go, guys. Another quick tip, make sure your flue to whatever kind of arch you're running is facing the right direction right now. However you want it, doesn't matter. This is how I want mine, kind of away from the barn. If you don't do that right now, this thing's gonna get too hot too quick and you won't be able to change it later. We are 40 minutes in right now to this boil. We're just getting going good. So there's a nice even boil across that whole pan. And it's still warming up, you know, a little bit, because usually I'll have at this corner back here, this will be boiling as well. It's not quite there yet, but you just got to keep giving this beast wood, more wood, and we're going to get through it. We're under 100 gallons to go through yet. So this is kind of the time, once the evaporator gets going, the RO's going good, I can kind of just settle back, split a little bit of wood here, and I may get a batch finishing. I have the batch from last weekend. I had stored in the fridge over the week. It is pretty much syrup. It's right there. What I typically do, I'll pull it off in the evening. We'll store it until we can finish it all at once. We finish it on a gas one burner here in the barn. That way we can just make sure that we are dialed in and we're not trying to pull off the pan directly. You can do that. Lots of people do that. That's not something that we do here at Gagne Farms, but if that's what you're comfortable with, by all means. So we might get a batch finish in here. We got to move some stuff around. I don't know. We'll see. One tip I see a lot of newbies not doing is not getting your flame up to your pan. And let me show you guys. This is that's even low. That should be more. I should have more wood in there right now. But the flame needs to touch the top of the pan. If it's not, you're just kind of screwing around. So you want to make sure that flame gets all the way up and touches the top of the pan. You're going to get a more consistent boil right away that way. I've seen some people online where they were boiling at different setups, you know, and I understand different setups require different things, but they were putting it on like a wood stove, so it was just the top, you know, flat steel of a wood stove, and you can't do that. I mean, yeah, you can. It's going to get hot, and you're going to get some steam off it, but you're going to be screwing around burning more damn wood than anything, unless you just made yourself an arch, even a cinder block arch, even an open pit style would be better than that. As long as that flame touches the bottom of that pan, that's what you want. We are gonna shove some more wood in this girl. It might seem like a lot of wood, and it is. That's why you see all these maple syrup makers with massive stacks of wood. Here's a quick tip. When I put my wood in, I put a couple going this way, a couple going this way, kind of like a log cabin, and it helps that flame reach the bottom of that pan a lot more even and a lot faster. So when I first started, I wasn't quite doing it like this, and oops, that one went off to the side, but you get the idea. So when I first started running maple syrup, and I was in a cinder block arch out back here, same pan but just a different arch, I'd have a boil going, but it was a small boil in the back of the pan. I was trying to get a fire during the whole length of this whole evaporator. I was on the arch, same idea. I was trying to get a fire going through the whole thing here. You do not need that. I only put my fire right here in this end. The flames travel down across the top of that pan and up the back of the flue. If you can kind of see, there's a little crack right there. See where all them flames are going? They're going this way, right on up. Then you don't have to burn as much wood. This whole pan is boiling. So that pan's boiling at the back. I only have a fire right up here at the front. So that's gonna help you guys out a lot too. So keep fire up the front, a good draw out your chimney, your exhaust stack, whatever you have, and keep those flames on the bottom of your pan. My boil chilled out just a smidge, but it might actually help you guys see that a little bit. This will be more of a rolling boil here in just a second. All right, we have been boiling right along. We've been going for about 3 hours right now. I believe we went through almost 50 gallons of sap. So we've got roughly 65 gallons left here. You can kind of see a line on the tote. That RO system has been humming right along. Lickety split, no problem. Fire's going good. The sun came out, and we're just making sure that we have a good boil going here. Consistent boil, don't want to lose your fire. While I've been standing out here, I had a couple things come to mind I wanted to point out. Just a couple more tips for you. This is something, it's probably pretty self-explanatory, but right there, see that? Split wood. If you can have your wood split, ready to go before you go to boil, much more enjoyable, because I did not. I have rounds out here, and so I'm splitting about every 10 minutes. I'm splitting a couple logs. It gets kind of boring after a while. So if you can split that throughout the year and have a quart or two, split ready to go just for maple syrup season. I did that last year. So much more enjoyable. Going to do that again for sure this coming year. What was the other thing? Right here. Check this out. So I got 2 5-gallon buckets here of just permeate. That is in case of a boil over or something happens. I need to hurry up and get some more liquid in the pan. You got to have that on hand, because if you don't, you're scrambling, and then you're probably going to scorch something, mess something up. So just have a couple 5-gallon buckets sitting there. Worst case, it's just water, right? So if you accidentally, if you get to a point where you need to put some in your pan, you can always boil that back out, is what I'm saying. It's better to boil out a little bit more water and not have a bunch of scorched syrup. So with that being said, we are cruising. We're going to keep this guy going. I'm hoping maybe 4 more hours we'll be done. Just going to put us into the afternoon, which is fine. That's kind of what I had planned. I got up early, got this thing going. I kind of like to do that on the weekend, so I'm not up till all hours of the night. Oh, that's another thing I want to tell you guys. Back in the olden days, when we started doing this and we had our block arch out back here, we would not have a good fire going. We didn't have a consistent fire over the whole pan, and that took forever. This amount of sap, it would have taken us 2 days to boil through. So whatever you can do, keep that boil going. Don't let it go down too far. Keep chucking wood in it. Keep that rolling boil going. You're gonna save yourself a lot of time. I mean, now I can get through 100 gallons of sap through the RO nonetheless in an afternoon, and I'm not stressed out about it. I'm not just sitting up for 18 hours in the middle of the night trying to get sap done. So much more enjoyable as well when you can knock something out like this in an afternoon. No matter how much you guys do, if you guys are doing 40 gallons of sap, you're doing 20 gallons of sap, it doesn't matter, but you just don't want to be sitting there for the whole day or 2 days or 3 days or whatever trying to knock it out. So a couple tips to help you guys, save you some time, save you some headache. I know once we started implementing these little things, RO system, big pan, the barrel arch, this is so much easier. It's now it's a nice day. I can go do things in the barn, I can do things outside, I can just keep an eye on this, stop by every few minutes, throw a couple sticks of wood in, and just let this guy go all day long while I'm getting other stuff done. So we're gonna keep going, we're gonna keep boiling, and looks like I might need to add a stick of wood in there. I am going to get a video to you guys this year yet about filtering and bottling. I know I've done it a few times for you. We'll just throw that in. I don't know if I'm gonna get to it today. I might try to do it throughout the week. It just depends how late this takes to get done. I may start up the finisher yet today. I might not. Just kind of gonna play it by ear. Regardless, even if I do, I can finish off a batch in a couple hours in the evening after work. So that's something I can always do on a weekday. So we might do that too. I can add that to this though, because I'm trying to get you guys some tips to help you out, save you some time, save you some headaches. I think I did that. All right, we are getting ready to finish a batch, and this has been sitting in the fridge for a few days. I'm trying something new. I'm gonna use this siphon. Since this has settled out into the fridge, I'm gonna siphon off the top of this into this other stock pot, and hopefully the idea is that all of the niter and any of the gunk and stuff will stay at the bottom. I won't suck that up with my siphon hose, and I'll leave that on the bottom of this pan, get the good syrup in that pan, heat it up, and bottle it. Well, we're gonna run it through the vacuum filter press first, but then we're gonna bottle it up. So let's get this guy rolling. All right, well, we got most of it out of there. It didn't all fit in my other pan over here. The siphon didn't exactly work. I just kind of had to manually pump it out. It worked for that, but it wouldn't actually get a siphon and just dump in the pan like it's supposed to work. But that's okay. We've got a fire going here, and we're gonna heat this stuff up and see where we are at. We've got to be very close to syrup on this batch. I know we are right there. So the plan is to get a batch finished today, get the pan cleaned up and the evaporator back into the barn, because we're getting a rainstorm this evening, and I don't want this evaporator, it's just got a bunch of ash in it. I don't want it sitting outside getting all muddy, so we're gonna get this batch going though. Well, we got our little setup going here, and we are boiling. We just checked our syrup level here with our hydrometer. We just checked our level, and we are floating. So that means that we are not far away from this being finished syrup. I'd give it maybe 10 minutes. But I did want to show you guys this Gas 1 burner right here. We got this last year. Absolute game changer. This came out of our refrigerator that had been in there it was well cold, been in there for a few days, and it got up to boiling within minutes. So I'm not even joking that having that full flame down there like that, I barely have the gas cracked on that. So we're just getting this ready to finish syrup. We're gonna get it ready, put it in our vacuum filter press, and bottle. All right, guys, we got syrup, and we're gonna knock this out real quick. I'm gonna try to bring you along best I can. All right, we've got, let's see, 16 bottles here. These are 12-ounce bottles. And the sun went down on us. That means the sun went down on the second day. So I'm going to have to leave you here, guys. I hope you learned something. I'm hoping a few of these tips and tricks helped you guys out along the way. If you guys want to see some other really cool maple syrup videos, check these out up here. And we'll catch you on the next one.